Hi YouTubers, thank you so much for tuning to, let me make sure this is straight. Hi YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in to Clever with Cash. My name is Reginald, and here on my channel I talk about personal finance, my debt-free journey, paying off $48,000 in debt. I have budget meetings where I go over my budget with you and show you how to budget. I even go over my net worth, whether it goes up or down. And then I also give you everyday tips to help you save money and also pay off debt. Okay, this video is going to be about me not using a credit card since November 2017. Yes, I remember the exact month that I haven't used a credit card. Here's why. Around that time, I started listening to the Dave Ramsey podcast. I have been wanting to get out of debt for quite some time, and you can watch a video on how I accumulate $48,000 in debt, and I also have another video on how I paid off $48,000 in debt. And so I started listening to his podcast. I also listened to other podcasts such as Optimal Finance Daily. His plan really resonated with me, and I was just very frustrated with feeling like I wasn't getting ahead in life, having insufficient funds, having overdraft fees, living paycheck to paycheck, and just not being happy financially at all, and being very frustrated. So I decided in November 2017 that I would not use credit cards again. And in order to pay off debt, you have to not accumulate debt. If you're constantly accumulating debt while you're paying off debt, it's kind of counterintuitive. So that's the first reason why I stopped using credit cards, is because I wanted to completely pay off debt and not have to worry about it ever again. So that was the first step of my debt-free snowball, my debt-free journey. And I had a massive amount of debt. Like I said, I had $48,000 in debt, and well, at the time I think I calculated like $50,000 in debt, and around that time that's what my salary was. And as a teacher I don't get paid very much, so I was like, okay, for me to get out of debt I need to change something. And my interest rate were enormously high. It was like a vicious cycle, because the interest rates were like, I had probably 4 or 5 credit cards, probably more than that, I don't even count. I had Discover card, which was like 25% interest, Citibank, Best Buy Citibank, Macy's, Express, I feel like I'm missing one, Gap, oof, I forgot about Gap. Now I'm pretty sure I'm missing some, but that's 6 credit cards right there. And I think my credit card debt was over 10,000. Well, it definitely was over 10,000. I think it was around 15,000 in just credit card debt. And part of it is because the interest rates were very high. And then I will look at my statements and see the payoff date. So if you keep paying the minimum payment, it takes so much longer, and that would be very discouraging for me. I just was like, okay, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to pay this off, especially still, especially if I'm still using credit cards. And my credit limits would always get increased. It was a way, I guess, of them trying to lure me back into using credit cards. Like Discover would always be like, okay, we increase your credit limit by $500. All the credit cards companies would do that. And when I was younger, like in my 20s, especially my early 20s, I thought that was like a big feat. It was like money, but it's actually like fake money. So you don't really have to use your own money at the time. So I would just like, oh yay, my credit limit increased $500. And guess what I would do? I would go put $500 on there. So that psychological game that they play, for me, I could not do it. I know a lot of people say that you could use credit cards in your benefit to get travel points and all these things. Okay, that's great. That just doesn't work for me. I don't see the huge benefit in going to travel. I'd rather just pay for it outright. And it just felt like a ongoing process that would never end, and that's why it's called revolving debt, because it keeps going and going. And so I was on that process for a very long time, and I was just tired of it. And a lot of people were concerned about my credit score whenever I closed my credit cards. Yes, my credit score did drop tremendously. Each credit card that I closed, and I closed all 6 of them. If I had more than that, I probably closed more than that. All the credit cards are closed still. My credit score did drop, but then it went back up after a few weeks and sometimes a month. And I still have my student loans, so whenever I bought my home, I did have that as credit, and it contributed towards my credit score. Now I don't have any student loans or any credit cards, but my credit score is still solid because I do have a mortgage. And I think that I know that that's the only debt that I will ever have again, and that's no offense to anyone that has that, but for me it doesn't work. So it's been I guess it's been over 3 years. Yes, it's been almost 4 years since I've had no credit card debt at all, and I'm glad that I don't have credit card debt. I feel free. Even when I still had my card note and my student loans, I still felt more free than having the credit cards. I feel that installment debt, not that it's so much better, but psychologically, there's a payoff date, an actual payoff date, and it's not revolving. I feel that that's a debt that I could feel better with, even though I won't get another car loan. I plan to save money and pay cash for my next car by selling my current car. But yeah, so credit cards is not for me. Yeah, now I'm not filming this video. Hopefully you found this video helpful. I would definitely like to learn your perspective on credit cards. How do you use them? If you don't use them, why or why not?